I'm going to ask my question in French, especially for Mrs. Szekszardi. I really appreciate your courage and the fact that you came here to provide us with your testimony. I heard you say two things, and that you wanted to consume. All right, testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. This is the English channel. I'm going to ask you the question. Can you hear me? Yes? Okay. So you said two things. That you wanted to use safely. So I would like to hear your answer. For you, what constitutes using in a safe fashion? That's what we're trying to do here with our youth. So what does this mean for you, to consume safely or to use safely?
To me, using safely would be knowing your limit. They do that whole thing about gambling, and it's like knowing your limit and stay within it, or whatever the slogan is. I kind of put that into like my use, whether it be drinking or smoking. I kind of put that into my use, and it's like obviously when I first started, I didn't know my limit, but because of those older friends and like the online resources, like I start to learn. It's like, okay, like I'm this height, I'm this weight, I'm this age, I could be able to take this much, and like this potency might be stronger than this potency, and it's basically just knowing your limit and knowing the different risks and knowing the different types, because it's like you can have like an Indica or a Sativa, and it's like those are two different highs, even though they're the same drug, marijuana. But you can have like either that mind high or that body high, and it's like, so for some people that mind high works better than that body high, but for others the body high works better than the mind high. So it's about, yes, it's about like experimentation, but it's also about like learning from like your peers, and that's basically how I got everything done. I learned from my peers that it's like, like, okay, I see how this person is acting when they do this much, this amount, and I figured, okay, well, I don't really want to look like that. I just want to feel like this other person who's just sitting there eating Cheetos and stuff. So, like, I want to do that rather than being paranoid that cops are after me. So, I know that whole, let me stay in between that, and just knowing the risks of, like, whether it be, like, if you're sharing a joint or something with someone who's sick, or like someone who may have like spiked your joint, and it's like you got to know where your sources are, like where it's coming from. And it's like I've always been like that. I like to know who my person is that I'm getting it from, like when they got it, what's in it. Like, if I don't really like to let people roll my weed, because unless I'm there, because then I don't know if they put something in it. So it's all about just being safely. It's kind of like when you get in a car, you put your seatbelt on. It's like not everybody gets in an accident every day, but there's that chance that you could get in an accident. So it's kind of the same thing with me with smoking. It's like it's not every day that I'm gonna get paranoid, but there's that chance that one day I will. So I need to always know, like, when I start feeling myself getting too up there, basically, then I would just lower myself down.
Okay. Mon deuxième point, vous avez dit tout à l'heure.
On another point, you said earlier that when you were a little younger, that it was precisely because you were young that you decided, and that it was illegal, that you wanted to use marijuana. But were marijuana to be legalized, do you think that the youth, young people are going to say, well, it's legal, and so I'm not really interested, and I'm going to look for something a bit stronger?
Say, well, now it's legal, let me stop using weed or cannabis or whatever we're calling it here. But I'm gonna keep calling it weed because that's what I know it as. So, but To answer your question, I don't really think people are going to stop using because it becomes legal. I know that was just my perspective of things. Not everybody starts using weed because they think it's a illegal drug and they want to be that cool person or whatever. That was my experience. But I do feel that with the decriminalization, it's like people we're able to start educating people about their use and about the repercussions, or just about how other people are going to act, because some people want to know information just because their friends are using, and they want to know why their friend is acting a certain way when they use, and what they can do or what they don't need to do. And because I've talked to some people who think that when someone's freaking out because they're high and they're paranoid, you should call an ambulance, and it's that's just going to make them feel worse, to be quite honest. And so I think that people will just be more educated, and I think they'll use more safely, and they'll be able to just understand it better. And yeah, sorry.
Gotta move on here.